And we're back. It took me a couple, this eclipse season, y'all. Woo. This Mercury retrograde, y'all. Woo. April has been wild in so many ways. So I'm happy to finally be back recording collective readings. Welcome back. My name is Jill, Jill BCHT, your hypnosis, coming at you from the moody moon room over at Ritual Space. This is one of our private offices, and we recently redid it, and it is just so warm and yummy and vibey in here today. I couldn't not do the collective reading in here with you today. So I hope you enjoy. Sitting on the floor because that's just what I prefer sometimes. Having my tea, and I've lit my candle. This one is well loved, but maybe you recognize it from an earlier video. This is my Protection Intention candle by Arle Tarot, and it is just absolutely beautiful. I also have my love candle by Arle in the back. If you follow me Becoming Home Healing Co., whether it's here or on Instagram, in the newsletter, wherever, then you might know that I partnered with Arle Tarot to create this beautiful intentional ritual box. It's the first of its kind. I just have to show it off before we get started here today. This is what the box looks like. So beautiful. Branded seal. And when you open it, you get a bunch of beautiful goodies inside. And this box is a collaborative effort between Arle and I, just in a way to promote each other and to support each other, and also just promote this like beautiful flow of creativity that's been flowing in this little creative collective that we have going on at Ritual Wellness Space and Yoga Space. So I just want to show you this box real quick. So each box comes with a candle, attention candle. So this is one of the candles in this box, filled with magic and intentions, directions on how to use the candle, and little stones that you can put on top for your own magic. And this candle has obsidian, moonstone, and apatite. So add these stones to the top of your candle as you're setting your own intentions for your personal magic. But it's so beautiful. I love the poppy colors that she chose in designing that candle. You also get limpia salts. So these are perfect for any kind of like cleansing, energy cleansing that you're doing. You can put it in a foot soak, use it as a scrub in the shower, adding it with some other oil to help exfoliate. But it's really great to just to use to cleanse your energy before reading tarot, channeling, journaling, and just taking care of yourself energetically. Of course, you get a little bundle of selenite and Palo Santo and lavender for your cleansing use. And then my favorite thing ever is this psychic oil. It smells so good. Designed and created by Arle, who is a phenomenally talented psychic. She has her own YouTube channel as well. So if you follow me, if you're interested in more readings, you should definitely go follow Arle. I'll link her below. But this is a great oil too. It's great to anoint yourself. I use it before reading for clients, connecting in meditation for myself and my own self-hypnosis and just reflective practices. But it's also great for the hair and the nails, and so I'll put it on and anoint myself. And honestly, what I was doing earlier today, I was having like a little bit of a rough emotional morning. It is a full moon, or it was a full moon yesterday, and I've been in my feels. So I put some on my hands, just a couple drops, and I just kind of like put my hands on my heart and just connected with myself, because I just needed a little nurturing moment of self-love. And I'm gonna put it in my hair and just get myself ready for this collective reading today. But In this box, you also get an Abundance is a Mindset window cling. These will stay on your candle, FYI, but you can put it on your mirror, you can put it on your car, you can put it anywhere that it will stick, mostly on glass, just to help you remember that abundance is a mindset. And that's really what this box has been designed to do. So if you're interested in getting your own box, we have some left. You can go to becominghomehypnosis.com. I'll have that linked below, and we have a new little store. So you can either buy the box as itself, or you can buy a box that includes a reading with Arle. And that's just a little fun thing we're doing to promote each other and support her. She is so incredibly talented and creative. So if you're looking for inspiration and interested in supporting a small business, a women-owned business, then she's your girl. So had to give a little plug about that before we get started today, because one, I wanted to use that oil. It's my literal favorite thing, but also because that's the beauty of having a platform. You can share and promote your besties along the way. So we're doing a collective reading today, and you know, it's been a moment in time, and I feel like there is just a lot of collective I'll say this, I kind of avoided connecting with collective energy over the past couple weeks because it was heavy and chaotic and confusing, and I myself needed time to ground and kind of recalibrate, because I was also experiencing this like whirlwind of energy, lots of doors closing and like instantaneous new doors opening, and so I had to just participate in my own shift. And sometimes you just have to do that, participate in the change that's happening, and process and give yourself love and compassion and heal as you go. So that's what I was doing, and I hope you were doing the same, because our last reading was very much like, buckle up, shorty, shit's about to go down, and I hope you just stay grounded and centered in your truth and your excellence and got through it the best to your ability. So now that we're kind of on the other side of some of this funky energy collectively, we're gonna shuffle and see what comes in. Spirit angels and guides come through and give me a message for the collective in their highest healing good. I don't know if I've said this on here before or not, but if you are a client of mine, if you've been in a private session with me before, then you know that when I connect to spirit and guides and I'm receiving messages, sometimes my nose gets itchy and then I start to feel chills on my legs mostly, but then it starts to rise over my body, and I'm kind of already feeling that right now in this moment. I feel my chest, like my heart space, is being activated. So that tells me collectively that maybe we're working through a lot of emotions at this time. And now more than ever is a great time to process that, because we are experiencing, but the time that I'm recording this right now is April 24th. So we just had the full moon in Scorpio, the pink moon, and it's normal, it's maybe even to be expected that during a full moon emotions are heightened. And so if you're feeling right now like you're in a process of needing to if you're in a state where you need to process those emotions that are coming up, I would advise you to do so. And hopefully this message will give you guidance, but I do feel like, and I've been feeling this for myself lately too, just so many emotions coming to the surface, and really like needing to feel them and understand the emotions coming through so that you can feel it. You have to feel your emotions to observe what it means to you let it go, move through it, and then come to a place where you can regulate yourself and center and ground, and based off of the experience you've had, you get to decide how you want to move forward with that. And I find myself in a place like that myself, but this is definitely a collective feeling of emotions being stirred. And this could be because there's a lot of shift and change happening as well. So let's see, what message do we have for the collective? Yeah, okay. It's really interesting. This reading is already just kind of validating conversations that I've been having with clients and friends, honestly, with a lot of people. I kind of have the beauty and the luxury of being in a beautiful space every day. It's my office, and so people come to me, and they whether they're clients in a session or just other community members doing their awesome, amazing, creative, purposeful healing work, and this conversation around almost like feeling alone and isolated. And this energy is interesting because some people, I've been noticing, it's kind of happening on the spectrum of people showing up and being vulnerable about this, of feeling isolated or alone. And I'm seeing it happen on a spectrum. Some people are seeing it they're finding themselves feeling isolated and alone. It's a realization they're having. They're not connecting with people around them. They feel separated. They feel maybe even rejected from people or places that they used to call home and feels like home. And then so it's almost like, it's kind of like a sad, painful experience to realize and to witness, and then and to experience, because I feel that too. And then on the other side of this spectrum, we have people who are deciding that they need to be by themselves so that they can start to see things clearly. Like there's so much kind of like chaos and nonsense and drama and bullshit that they just like, I just need time to breathe in space so that I can really connect back to myself, regulate, and see myself clearly, and see my situation clearly, and ask myself, am I in the spaces, places, and around the people that are supporting me in my goals and my how I want to feel every day? And so whether you are listening to this, right, if you're listening to this and you're realizing you're on somewhere on either side of the spectrum, or maybe you're somewhere in the middle, right, of in this place of feeling rejected, or the door is closing, and you're feeling disconnected from people, places, and things that used to be important to you, and what it's really offering you is an opportunity to be by yourself and to connect with your goals and to feel everything that you're experiencing in this moment, in what isolation really does, what it's bringing up for you. It's important to sit through that. This is 3 of Swords energy. And this topic of rejection, right, or abandonment, is something that's important to talk about, because we all respond to pain differently. And with my clients, my hypnotherapy clients specifically, but of course my tarot clients as well, when we're looking at trauma and we're looking at these adverse experiences that we have in our lives that feel like heartache and heartbreak, a lot of the times we're seeing it rooted in experiences of rejection and abandonment. And there's this saying, I've heard it before, I don't know the source of it, but rejection is divine protection, right? God redirecting you and protecting you from what's not for you, what's not in alignment with your highest good. And if you're here watching this, then you're at least curious about spiritual connection and energetic hygiene, and applying that to your mental health and overall wellness. And you are a spiritual being having a human experience, as I see it and as I experience it. You are energy. You are pure source energy, and you are living this life learning. The purpose is to learn, I wonder, the whole emotional experience that it is and means to live. And so we hold on to these feelings of rejection and abandonment because to be pushed away, or to be let go, to be broken up with, to be forgotten, discarded, especially when we're experiencing that at an early age in childhood, man, does it create a huge resounding residual sound throughout our whole life. And we spend our lives experiencing situations that remind us of that initial feeling of rejection or abandonment, because it plays with our sense of worthiness, and maybe even plays with this feeling of maybe I did something wrong. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm not good enough. I didn't do enough for the situation to be successful. I couldn't control the outcome. This is a reflection of me as a person, and that's what rejection and abandonment, these wounds, trigger, right? We look at it as a problem within ourselves when that is really not the situation. So if you're starting to feel any wounds around abandonment or rejection being triggered in your life currently, relationships are ending or they're transitioning, or you're leaving a job, or you're moving, or you're just deciding to continue on this healing journey work, and you're giving yourself permission to let go of this old narrative and this old story, right? There's something that's being removed for you, or is being taken care of for you. So even if it feels like you're being rejected, I want to offer you this perspective today of seeing it maybe not as a reflection of you, but a reflection of what happens when you continue to do work to embody your pure, innocent, playful, beautiful, soulful self, and you're choosing who you want to be. Because that's a very wise and loving thing to do, by the way. And sometimes when we grow, we outgrow people, places, things, and situations. And so they let us go before we're ready to. And while it is not a reflection of your worth, as if you are not worthy, maybe this is an opportunity for you to see that you have space to grow and to call in the people, places, things, and situations that are right for you, that support this version of you that you're becoming. It doesn't mean that it's not painful though, right? But I want us, as we're experiencing these feelings of isolation and heartbreak and disappointment and rejection, any of these challenging and uncomfortable emotions that we can feel, I want to challenge us to stay grounded and rooted in our worthiness, and know our truth, and trust that as long as you honor yourself, that is what's the most important. And we can't hold other people's actions and judgments as necessarily a reflection of who we are. If anything, it shows us about them, right? It shows us where they're at in their development and their journey, on where they're experiencing. And sometimes we trigger each other on this journey. My Lord, don't we trigger each other? And sometimes you're light, because this is the energy that it's interesting because this is the energy that's coming up: playfulness, innocence, right? This is very innocent, childlike, explorative, curious energy. And even though this feels like very like almost like childlike in nature, this playfulness, silliness, do you see this like older man holding this praying mantis in the innocence card? Innocence doesn't contribute to youth, right? It's not necessary. Innocence, of course, is found in our youth, but there's also this very wise approach to innocence. Innocence is not to mean naive. It's almost in this, what I'm feeling right now, and my nose is itching, so maybe I'm onto something here, but maybe innocence is this connection to seeing the purity of something, to see it in its most beautiful, simple form, and then to see something in such a wonderful way. And so never lose that wonder, never lose that almost innocence, and that playfulness. And maybe that's even the medicine here to helping us deal with heartache and guilt and all these challenging mental emotions, because heartache and guilt, these are mental energies. Heartache is not necessarily in the body, though we can feel heartbreak in the body. If you're someone that feels our emotions deeply in the body, then you know heartache, what it feels like. I already felt it, you know, as I was shuffling for this reading. That heart space was becoming activated, so that physical sensation of the heart space needing attention and love and healing. But to heal that disappointment is to maybe bring life and levity and innocence, and not be so hard on yourself for things not working out, because you're an individual with your own unique experience, and we just can't control external circumstances sometimes. So of course, move through those emotions as you need to, but don't forget to play and be, and to connect to your joy, even in a time of grief, of grieving and sadness. It's really interesting. Another card here is ordinariness, and the peacefulness and the joyfulness of this card I love. Just in the ordinariness of just walking along a path under trees and just seeing the beauty. There's something about connecting yourself with nature, for example, to help you also connect with just the natural process of things. You know what's interesting? So ordinariness, right? We have these trees. This person is walking under these trees, just kind of almost lost. Maybe they're in a daydream, or they're just really enjoying this presence, being surrounded by beauty and nature. But do you notice how these cards, they're also under like flowering trees? It's really fascinating. Hold on. You can be in a beautiful environment, surrounded by beauty and purity and joy, and just, you know, when I think of a flowering tree, I think of, I don't know, I'm just thinking of like, you know, nature is perfect, has no agenda. It is just being, you know, there's no rush, there's no destination. A tree knows when to grow buds and for the flowers to bloom. It's an organic process. And it has this such gentle, it's gentle symbolism of spring, right? It's gentle symbolism of blooming at the right time, in your season. And I kind of think that you're blooming and it's like your season, and you know, you're in this situation and yeah, you're responding to something uncomfortable that happened, or, you know, rejection or innocence, you know, something has pushed you away and rejected you, and it's triggered an old wound maybe, or maybe this is a new experience you're having. But to me, honestly, this feels just like a situation that is reminding you of an old story of you not being enough, you not being lovable, you know, whatever. And that's not true. And so you have a choice in the season of blooming. You can ruminate and just feel guilty and feel like it's your fault, or you can kind of embrace a different energy under these flowers and shift your attention to something else, something a little bit more innocent and playful and joyful. You're almost being asked to let go of this pretty quickly. So if this is something that's recently happened that's triggering this old wound, you have the tools that you need to regulate, to detach with compassion and just focus on the things that you're supposed to, because you're blooming. And whatever let you go or you're leaving behind is creating space for you to really embody and be in your innocence, and to be in this place of receiving. Maybe this was a gift. It doesn't maybe feel like that, but I wonder if you could see it, how you would feel if you could see it as a gift, as a shove, as a push into the right direction, because maybe you weren't willing to let it go, but because it let you go, it told you what you needed to know, you know? So try and notice if any of those harmful thoughts that are filled with guilt or fear or self-pity or anything like that, just try and like shift back to focusing on the beauty of what's in front of you, and try to approach this from a place of, I'm being protected and I wonder where my attention should be. What feels like maybe a negative situation is actually a blessing. Ooh. Yeah, there's energy around here. The politician, politics. Look at this freaking card. Am I right? Like, the mask. You know what? This feels like the heartbreak of clarity. Sometimes, right? Sometimes people wear a mask and they're performative, and the things that they do are, you know, you see them as one way, and then sometimes the mask falls off and you're forced to see people for who they really are. And that is heartbreaking, especially when these are people that you love and care about. And so there's a bit of freedom that you could choose to participate in rather than really linger in this heartbreak for too long. Source and trust. You're being shown this for a reason. It's for your highest good. So just trust the process as you move forward. These two cards together, honestly, they feel like Icarus, the story of Icarus, right? Icarus with his wax wings, flying too close to the sun. And what happens when you get too close to the sun? It melts and you fall. Well, that's one way to look at it. So just, I guess, be mindful, right, of this source of discomfort, honestly, is what this feels like. Where is your pain? Where are you feeling this pain or this conflict? Don't get closer to that, you know, if this is from another person. It's time to maybe separate yourself and just kind of go off on your own path to mind your own business. For some of you watching this, just be really mindful. Something is not as it seems. So trust your intuition, tap into that. And if you feel any kind of attachment to something or someone, or obligation to something or someone, and it's causing you stress, please be mindful of that and regulate, because it's not all that glitters is gold. You don't want to get too close to a situation and like get burnt in the end. So practicing compassionate detachment is going to be important for you at this time, especially if things don't feel very clear. But also listen to your intuition, because even though things presenting to you, they're going to present as something else, maybe you're feeling the real intention or the energy behind it. So just be conscious of false masks. People not being honest or genuine. Just listen to the signs. What message do we have for the collective here, Spirit? Spirit, angels, and guides, come through. What else can you tell us? Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. Flowering. You're blossoming. You're flowering. You're blossoming. And sometimes, honestly, when we are in this place of blossoming and flowering and growing into ourselves and blooming, it's our time, it's our season. I'm coming into myself. It bothers other people, it irritates other people, and they're going to project onto you whatever they want to believe, right? For their story to be true, right? But don't let that cloudy the truth. Don't let that cloudy the truth. Okay? Don't let that cloud the truth. If your intentions are pure and innocent and playful and curious and joyful and just rooted in your own flowering, your own abundance, and you're just living your life, then you gotta trust that. And when people respond in a challenging way, you just have to let it go. This is the focus for you. This is the focus for us. Keep flowering, keep blooming, keep receiving that connection to your higher self, to your wise and loving voice, that inner voice in your head, your subconscious voice, to the divine, right? Keep listening to those that inspire you and encourage you to be your authentic self and cheer you on. Listen to those that see you for who you are and celebrate it. And don't be concerned about the people that don't. That you gotta let that go. Just let it go. Let go of the attachment. Let go of the need to get validation from people that they're not in the same energy as you. This is not the same energy. Look at the high vibration versus that low vibration. Your advice is to let go and let God. Let go and keep going with what you got going on, because you're onto something. You're flowering, you're blooming, and you can't let anyone dull that down. Especially if there was conflict over this past month, especially. There was energy in our collective environment that was very triggering. And maybe there was conflict, there were fights, there were breakups, right? Disagreements, challenges in relationships, especially. If that came up, it's really important for you to let it go, because this irritation, this conflict, this explosion, this happened so you could see the truth of the matter. And so as long as you stay grounded and regulated and connected to your truth and your power and your experience of blossoming and blooming, that's what fucking matters. Because you're being prepared. Experiencing is a card that just popped out as I was shuffling. This is 3 of Wands energy. So you're being prepared. What you're experiencing right now is a lesson and nothing more. Do not take it personally. It is showing you a lesson, a very important lesson that's only preparing you for what's to come as you continue to bloom and blossom and grow. It's just like this energy of essence, like your essence stands out most, especially when there's drama or conflict or people are trying to fool you and make you look a fool. No, no, no. You're not. Not if you stay connected and rooted in your essence. And if you're doing this work, this self-work, this mind medicine work, this soulful work of connecting to your joy and your purpose and your calm and your peace, I mean, that is divine. That is your essence. That is your right to stay rooted and grounded in that. And no one can take that from you, especially if they have bad intentions. Intention is everything. So stay rooted in yours. Listen to your inner voice. At the bottom of the deck, healing. And any discomfort that you have coming up during this time, especially the outsider, you're being cast aside maybe, but it's only representing a past experience that you've probably had, especially if it's rooted in childhood. So that's where the healing has to go. So maybe take some time to connect with your inner child. If you're hearing this and this inspires you, sit down with a notebook and see if you can, or any kind of blank page, and just start to like free write. Maybe even like try and connect with how your inner child feels. What do they feel like? What are you remembering? Is there an experience from the past that's coming up that's being triggered by something happening currently in your environment? And if you could connect with your inner child, if you could go back and, for example, if I could sit with little Jill right now as she's working through these emotions, these familiar emotions of feeling left out, cast aside, rejected, and abandoned, where would I go in my mind? What does this remind me of? And how can I soothe and care for my little Jill so that she can remember that even though she feels left out and there's pain in that, how can I guide her through this and help her remember her essence, right? How she is just light and pure and innocent and deserves to have fun and be included and seen. And I think if I had to give my inner child that advice, I'd ask her in this moment at least, what is this showing you how you don't want to treat people? You know, how do you want to treat people moving forward? And how will people know you as you authentically? Who is Jill, and how will they know who Jill is? And that's how they'll know, based off of how you treat them. So if someone is treating you poorly, then you're learning through them how not to treat other people, because it doesn't make you feel good. And that kind of takes some of the power back for little Jill, and I think that would support her. So maybe sit down and ask yourself those questions. There's a creative journaling exercise that I love to give to clients, and it's called dialogue. So what you do is you write a conversation, and this is a free writing exercise. So you just allow things to come to you genuinely, from the subconscious, from the heart, and you're going to sit and either interview or have a conversation with a part of yourself. Or maybe this is someone who's hurt you, but what I want you to do is focus on the inner child and write as if you are both. So you would start by saying, you know, me, colon, this is how I'm feeling, or asking your inner child a question, and then write inner child and then respond as your inner child and what would they say, and then you go back and forth in your journal, and just see what comes up. And maybe you'll be surprised. If anything, I hope it's cathartic for you. But you know how to heal this also as part of the answer. This is familiar. This is not something new. This is something old that's being triggered. It's bringing up something old but familiar, and this is an opportunity to infuse healing into that space. And also notice how this is the heart space on this healing card. This is matters of the heart. So infuse some love and compassion for yourself and your little self, if anything, in this time of working through these challenging emotions. I'm sorry guys, if you are watching this and this resonates, I feel you, man. I feel you. I'm gonna pull one card from the Hack Your Nervous System deck to give you some inspiration on how you can help regulate and feel connected back to your peace and your calm, and your innocence and your playfulness, which is the remedy here, by the way. So let's see what the deck has. A little piece of advice for us as we connect back to that energy. Okay, 2 options. The fractal effect, which is fascinating because this card was ordinariness, and what I was feeling was, you know, going out in nature and looking at the patterns that you see in nature and connecting it back to yourself. How is nature reflecting you back to yourself, right? But fractals, if you don't know, are patterns. And this says fractals are simple patterns that repeat over and over again. You can find them in plants, flowers, trees, clouds, snowflakes, pine cones, and shells, or through man-made art via a simple online search for fractals. So I guess Google's your friend for this exercise. Focusing on these patterns for as little as 10 seconds is proven to reduce stress levels. While I feel like this reading is encouraging you to actually go out into nature and see the different repeating patterns that you may see around you, and just connect with that. I love that. If you ever you know, if you know anything about fractals, I find it fascinating. But if you've ever seen how the branches of a tree grow compared to how the veins in your lungs form in a healthy lung, and they're identical, right? So that's just an example, I guess, of fractals repeating in nature. Helps us remember that we're also a part of nature, and that just as flowers do, we bloom at the right time. I'm just saying. That's pretty cool. Another exercise you could use is humming bee breath. Maybe this one will work better for you. This says, sit or lie down comfortably, inhale through your nose and exhale through a closed mouth, making a humming sound at the back of your throat. Ways to enhance the calming benefits. Cover your eyes with your hands, lie down with your stomach pressed against the ground, and use high-pitched humming. Again, right? Connecting with nature. Pretending to be a bee, helping you connect. Well, that's the message I have for you today. I hope it served you. 43:43 on the clock as I just looked. You got this. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are blooming and flowering you are blooming and flowering at the exact perfect time. Don't let anyone tell you anything less. And if they do, they're not your people. I love you so much. Let me know if this message resonates. You can follow me on Instagram, find me at my website, find me at Ritual Wellness Space. We have really cool things always in the works here. And I'll see you next time.